भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्ठिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 7, and Text 17. Yaha cha मूढतमः लोके यश्च मूढतमो लोके यः च बुद्धेः परं गतः यश्च बुद्धेः परं गतः तौ उभौ सुखम् एधेते तावुभौ सुखमेधेते क्लिश्यति अन्तरितः जनः क्लिश्यति अन्तरितो जनः यश्च मूढतमो लोके यश्च बुद्धे परं गतः तावुभौ सुखम् एधेते क्लिश्यति अन्तरितो जनः. In the world, Yahacha, and one who is Buddhehe, of intelligence, Param, transcendental, Gataha, gone, Tau, of them, Ubhau, both, Sukham, happiness, Edhete, enjoy, Krishyati, suffer, Antaritaha, situated between, Janaha, persons. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation: both the lowest of fools and he who is transcendental to all intelligence enjoy happiness, whereas persons between them suffer the material pangs. Please repeat. Both the lowest of fools and he who is transcendental to all intelligence enjoy happiness, whereas persons between them suffer the material pangs. Purport by Sri Prabhupada. The lowest of fools do not understand material miseries. They pass their lives merrily and do not inquire into the miseries of life. Such persons are almost on the level of animals who, although in the eyes of superiors are always miserable in life, are unaware of material distresses. A hawk's life is degraded in its standard of happiness, which entails living in a filthy place, engaging in sex enjoyment at every opportune moment, laboring hard in a struggle for existence, but this is unknown to the hawk. Similarly, human beings who are unaware of the miseries of material existence and are happy in sex life and hard labor are the lowest of fools. Yet because they have no sense of miseries, they supposedly enjoy so-called happiness. And are called Paramahamsas. But persons who are neither like hawks and dogs, nor on the level of the Paramahamsas, feel the material pangs, and for them, inquiry about the Supreme Truth is necessary. The Vedanta Sutra states, Sadhato Brahma Jignasa. Now one should inquire about Brahma. This inquiry is necessary for those who are between the Paramahamsas and the fools who have forgotten the question of self-realization in the midst of life in sense gratification. Tasya Bhaktivedanta Purpoto Madhyanatamidantasya Dhanantana Shalakaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamy Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shuddhavadi Parshatha Deshakarine. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So these are Vidura's words. Vidura is also an intelligent personality. He is asking further inquiries to the sage, the learned sage Maitreya. And Vidura is also not an ordinary personality, so here he makes an interesting statement. There are only two categories of people who are happy in this world. Who are they? Yascha Mudatamo Loke. One is the lowest of the fool. That is one category. They are happy. Then the other category is Yascha Buddhe Paramgataha. Those who transcended intelligence, the platform of intelligence, those who transcended, they are also happy. Tau Ubhau, these two, Sukham Edhete, Sukham. They enjoy happiness. But the Krishyati Antarataha, those who are in between, that means the lowest of fools on one extreme and the highest platform. So in between the categories, they Krishyati, they suffer the material pangs. So those who are in between, they suffer the material pangs. So we will see in the next verse how Vidura builds it up. So here Prabhupada is defining who is the lowest of fool. The lowest of fool is one who do not understand material miseries. So fools are those, they do not understand that there are material miseries in this world. Then what they do? They may really go on with their so-called happiness, and they never inquire into the miseries of life. They don't even perceive that there are miseries in this world. They don't perceive. So since they don't pursue miseries, and by nature everybody wants happiness, they continuously search, they hunt, they chase happiness in this world. They Google happiness in this world. So this is the situation. Those who are simply hunting for happiness, forgetting that there are material miseries, they are Mudatamaha. Mudatara, Mudatama. Mudatama means highest Muda. which is translated into lowest of the fools. In the fools also there is lower fool and middle and higher fools. So this is the lowest of the fools. Who are they? They don't understand that there are material miseries, and they go on searching for happiness. Prabhupada says their consciousness is almost at the level of animals. Lowest of fools means the consciousness is almost at the level of animals. Happiness and consciousness are connected. The lower the consciousness, the more he will not be able to recognize that there are miseries. And as the consciousness increases, he starts recognizing that there are miseries. And also, the lowest is the consciousness, then he doesn't recognize miseries, and then he will be merrily chasing happiness. And he will get addicted to such enjoyment, which is actually abominable, but he feels merry, he feels happy, he goes on. Like Prabhupada is giving the example of a hog. A hog's life we all have seen. In India, fortunately you can still see hogs. In some of the foreign countries, not easy to see. They take away all those. After taking away all those, what they do? They eat. They eat hogs. And some of the countries they eat dogs. So anyway, hog's life is degraded in its standard of happiness. Now, this is an interesting word Prabhupada is using, standard of happiness. That standard of happiness is connected to consciousness. Hog's consciousness is so covered, it is so less, that when it enjoys, something is very enjoyable for the hog, it derives happiness. But actually, what is that hog is getting enjoyment from? It enjoys the stools, eating stool. No human being wants to stay, for too long in a washroom. After passing stool, he wants to immediately flush it out or quickly come out of it. Because a human being is supposed to have higher consciousness, and he knows this is abominable. It is a waste from the body. So we just come out of it. But hog is waiting for that opportune moment. Actually, because we don't have experience in the villages, people go to the fields to pass stool. And then, say a child, he is passing stool, and suddenly you will see one big pig, he comes there and waits. It will be standing there only. Sometimes children, they run away. So, as soon as, they pass stool, immediately it rushes and comes. Sometimes this human being has to run away. Very eagerly waiting for its food. And whereas the human being, he wants to run away from it. Cannot bear that, smell and all those things. So, hog is like that. It eats like that, engages in sex indiscriminately, always looking for sex enjoyment, and then he labors very hard. Whole day it is laboring hard. Very stool, very stool, very stool. This is the labor. This is hog's life. Now, any human being, when he really considers the situation of the hog, he knows, oh, it's a very abominable life. But a hog doesn't know. Hog is very happy. Happy and satisfied. How you can say? That's why you see hogs become very fat. They're satisfied and they're enjoying, so they become very fat. So this is the situation of a certain consciousness. Doesn't understand that there are miseries, there is higher life. Dog has no business in all these things. Goes on. But there is one more category. They are transcendental even to intelligence. Yascha buddhe param gataha. That category are paramahamsas. They are beyond the platform of even intelligence. We know there is a hierarchy inside our body. The lowest is the body, then there are senses. Higher than the senses is the mind. Above the mind is intelligence. And above the intelligence is the ego and the soul. So, the ones who are beyond intelligence, they have the right ego, that yes, I am servant of Krishna. And they are situated in the highest consciousness. The original platform of the soul, they are situated. They are Paramahamsas. Radha Govinda ki jai. They are Paramahamsas. And they are also very happy. Paramahamsas are always happy. Is it that they don't realize that there are material miseries here in this world? No, Paramahamsas also, they know there are material miseries here. They are completely aware of all those miseries, but still they are very happy. The lowest of the fools, they are not aware that there are miseries. They simply chase happiness. But Paramahamsas, well aware of all these things, still they are very happy. That is their consciousness. Why? They are so happy. Like one of the associates of Lord Chaitanya, he says, Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. This universe is full of happiness. Purna Sukha. But the world is actually Dukkhalayam. Krishna is teaching all the lowest of the fools that this world is actually a place of dukkha. That is, by design it is dukkha, place of dukkha. But Lord Chaitanya's associate is saying it is full of sukha. Bharat Maharaj, it is said that he has, he is an emperor of the planet, young wife, and no enemy, a wonderful kingdom, happiness, and he is very young, in his 20s, having all kinds of enjoyment at his place, but still he gives up everything and then goes away in order to practice spiritual life, self-realization. And Bhagavatam says he left his kingdom and all his facilities of enjoyment like the way somebody leaves the stool. Just left it like that. He rushes to practice self-realization. But we see the politicians of today, till the last moment they will be holding on to their chair, fighting in the elections and this and that, till the last moment. Unless he is assassinated or he cannot really move, they won't leave. This is the situation. Bharat Maharaj is young, a beautiful wife, And then the unparalleled kingdom, he just left it as stool, and then he goes away to practice spiritual life. How is this behavior change? One side we see that people are hanging on to their chairs till the last moment. For one of our events, we called in the neighboring states, we have some event. We called the local governor to come. He is so old. For him to come, it is not easy. So old. But still, till the last moment, they want to be in power. They don't hand over to some able people, at least who can come and attend some temple events. If not anything, at least for temple events. No. This is the scenario. How is it that they are like this? And then we see examples of Bharat Maharaj who are able to coming to the sex enjoyment. Here we see the hog has no discrimination. Human being is supposed to have discrimination. But if he also doesn't have any discrimination, then he is also on the same standard. And then we see Yamuna Acharya. He says, whenever I think of sex enjoyment, my lips, they curve in distaste. He has a distaste. How much is the distaste? His lips curve in distaste. That is his situation. How is it that? On one side we see everybody is rushing towards that enjoyment. On the other side we see this personality who is saying, there is a distaste. Once there was a conversation between the disciples of Prabhupada and Prabhupada. Conversing. And Prabhupada is saying, this is sex enjoyment, it is for hogs and dogs. There is no enjoyment at all. And then disciple is saying, Prabhupada, everybody says that there is so much of enjoyment here, only you are saying there is no enjoyment. Why is it that? And Prabhupada says, everybody is a fool, only I am the intelligent man. Everybody is lowest of the fools. Only a Paramahamsa is really intelligent. So, by taking shelter of such a Paramahamsa, even we can also become intelligent. At least intellectually we can understand that yes, there is misery in this world and there are standards of happiness. Based on the consciousness, the standards of happinesses are defined. When we chant nicely, when we participate in the morning sadhana nicely, you are jumping and dancing in ecstasy, your consciousness is very bright. At that time, you don't feel any attraction to any sense object. You are so happy, you are floating in the air. That is one consciousness. But as soon as our consciousness dips a bit, now at that level, some objects starts looking attractive. Some objects of this world, they start looking attractive. Then there is a struggle in the mind. You will be worried, you will be struggling to divert your mind. You will be using your intelligence to divert your mind. You are trying to recollect and say, no, this is not good, that is not good. You are trying to come out of it. I am not this body, she is not that body. So many things we are struggling. Why? Consciousness has come down a bit. And if it comes down even more further, down, we don't even know. There won't be any struggle also. There won't be any opposition in the mind and intelligence. You will be simply running behind the sense object. By the time you recognize you're already running behind somebody, this is and then if the consciousness becomes even more dull, finish. He can commit any sinful activity. See, this is the danger. So, in Krishna consciousness movement, we are interested in elevating our consciousness. We are working on consciousness levels. Not struggling at the mind, not struggling at the intelligence. Somebody may not be very intelligent to understand all this, to understand what is spirit, what is matter, what is our existence, and how we are living in a dream, and this and that. They may not understand. Like Vidura, in the beginning, he is asking a question, and Maitreya Rishi is saying, our existing in this world is like you are seeing your head cut off. Now, we may not understand what it is. Not easy to understand some of the, say, philosophical things. So that's all intelligent people. There is a consciousness process. And if we are adapting ourselves to that process of consciousness, then it doesn't matter whether intellectually you understood, not understood. You can remain in flying colors. And what is that highest level of consciousness that I can attain? That is Krishna consciousness. You have to touch Krishna directly. Our consciousness, which is very dull and covered now, if it is in touch with the Supreme Consciousness, Krishna, then automatically our consciousness gets elevated. Intellectually, whether you understood or not understood, it doesn't matter. Of course, it is good if somebody is intelligent, you can understand, it is good, you should try to understand. We can utilize all these facilities in order to enhance our consciousness, but the struggle is at consciousness level. How I can be in touch with Krishna always? This is the struggle of a devotee. He is not battling with the mind, he is not battling with the intelligence. For example, here Paramahamsa, Yascha Buddhe Param Gataha, is beyond intelligence. Apparently he may be uneducated, not very intelligent, but still he can be a Paramahamsa. In our Sampradaya Parampara, we see sometimes materially, say Gaura Chandra Dasa Babaji Maharaj, materially, he may look like he is not very educated or not very, but he is actually on the transcendental platform. Highest intelligence he has. And most intelligent, Bhakti Siddhanta is a disciple. Whereas Gaura Chandra Dasa Babaji Maharaj, apparently he is not very educated, not very intelligent, but actually he is transcendentally highest intelligence he has. Why? Always he chants Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. How to be in touch with Krishna always? This is the struggle of a devotee. Because we are somewhere in between, not lowest of the fools, and not on the Paramahamsa stage, Klishyati Antaritaha Janaha. So we are actually in between. So we pursue Klishyati, miseries. That is very good. If somebody pursues miseries in this world, very good, he is intelligent. One of the items in the 13th chapter, Krishna mentions the items of knowledge. One of the items is to recognize that there are miseries in this world. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi, to recognize. Recently, vyadhi, everybody recognized. Thanks to COVID, it has made everybody very intelligent. Everybody came to the platform of knowledge. Oh, there is misery here. So, since we are in between, even for the sadhakas, the process is being made very happy. By Lord Chaitanya's mercy, by the mercy of Paramparacharya, Prabhupada, the process has been made very happy. Our Guru is always happy. Nityananda is always happy. Chaitanya is always happy. All the Paramahamsa Sampradaya, everybody is happy. And the process that they have given is also very happy. Still, we are not happy. Why? Because we still have dirty things in our consciousness. This is the problem. So, if you want to get rid of these dirty things, we have to always, the consciousness has to touch pure consciousness. Here Prabhupada words, here is lectures, here is books, here is sound, that is uncontaminated sound. Touch is books, here is books. So when you go on touching Guru and Krishna, and Guru is always telling how to touch Krishna always, how to be in Krishna consciousness always. Krishna also makes it very clear, always think of me. It is very clear. And if somebody thinks always of Krishna, then he is highest consciousness always. So how I can remain always Krishna conscious, that is being taught by Srila Prabhupada. So we should hear. It doesn't matter whether you are educated or not educated, whether you are able to understand his words or not, that very sound is uncontaminated sound. That sound, if you are always in touch with that sound, you are purified. Your consciousness will be very bright. This is the glory of hearing Srila Prabhupada. Some of the speakers, okay, we can give you some intellectual understanding. Intellectually you may be little understanding and excited. And through intelligence you can also adjust your consciousness a bit. But when you touch Prabhupada, directly the sound reaches the soul. It touches the consciousness. You understand, doesn't understand. Go on hearing, reading. That association with the Paramahamsa, we'll see in the next sloka, Vidura also says, that is the most easy process in this life. Sthane sthita shrutigatam tanuvan manobi. Just wherever you may be, your brahmachari or your gruhastha or whatever may be your position, remain there. And then shrutigatam, go on hearing. 5 minutes time is there, just switch on one little, your mobiles are there, no, press one button, Prabhupada's sound will come. Hear that sound. Or if that opportunity is there, then not there, net is not there, or very slow, or whatever, and then there is a book. Just go on reading those words, Prabhupada words. This is our life. Don't waste any time, because we are antaritaha, we are in between. So Maya is trying to pull us towards this side, lowest of the fools. And Prabhupada is very kindly trying to pull us towards the other side, Paramahamsa Marga, the path of Paramahamsas. So take advantage, we have come here in touch with Prabhupada's movement. Extremely fortunate. He is available, his association is available. His books doesn't need any in-between people to interpret. We don't need some people to explain and then throw some light and all that, not required. Just hear Prabhupada words. That very sound is enough to liberate you from all the miseries. Any questions? Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణవాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణవాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 91331077